Hey guys, Ruben Tech back here today. I got a great one for you. We have an Apple fanboy, just a total soy boy who is almost brought to tears when he finds out the truth about Tim Cook. It's a hilarious thing. I just had to have a reactionary video to it. We will go ahead and get into it. I don't know who he is, Keith Edwards. Maybe you've heard of him. He just showed up in my feed. It had this really clickbait title: Mark Zuckerberg's big secret exposed by fed up Mark Cuban. I will have a timestamp to the reaction because it's like a minute and a half in. I will comment on some other stuff he says too. And I will have a link to this video if you're interested. Let's go ahead and get started.
Billionaire Mark Cuban has exposed Mark Zuckerberg and the rest of the billionaire tech elite that have been going to Mar-a-Lago to curry favor with Donald Trump. I have a lot of news to bring you. Let's just get right into it.
Nice.
Everyone is going to Mar-a-Lago. And not only that, they're bringing their wallets.
Listen, Elon Musk lives at Mar-a-Lago now. He rents like a $2,000 a night cabin.
Here's Tim Cook. Here's Elon Musk. Here's Jeff Bezos with his soon-to-be wife. There she is.
So this girl, Lauren Sanchez, I think her name is, I thought, just personally, I thought she looked much better before her plastic surgery. I think when these women, they start doing it and they make themselves look like a cat, I don't think it does them any favor. Her natural look, I thought, was just, she was stunning, and then now it's like you can just tell it's this kind of weird cat look.
There he is.
That's just my opinion.
By the way, side note, Jeff Bezos is just like you and me. He's getting married for a cool $600 million. $600 million. And Aspen, I should say that Jeff Bezos...
That's not possible, okay? It's just, you can't spend $600 million on a wedding. What can you spend on a wedding? You'd buy everybody, a mansion and a Ferrari or something?
Bezos has denied these claims, but I'm sure he's not going to be hurting for money. Here's...
Of course I am, but what does that matter?
Mark Zuckerberg with Donald Trump. And you might remember Mark Zuckerberg was mentioned in Donald Trump's book, where Donald Trump said Mark Zuckerberg would come to the Oval Office to see me. He would bring his nice wife to dinners, be as nice as anyone could be, while always plotting to install shameful lock boxes in a true plot against the president, in all caps. He told me that there was nobody like Trump on Facebook, but at the same time, and for whatever reason, steered it against me. We are watching him closely. This is the important part. And if he does anything illegal this time, he will spend the rest of his life in prison, as will others who cheat in the 2024 presidential election. So that was in September that came out. And here, this is just weeks ago.
Okay, so this guy's acting like this is a big deal. Let's look at who Donald Trump is. He's a charlatan. He's a fraud. He's a carnival barker. All he does is threaten people around him. That's just the way he communicates to people. It gets them to fall in line. Right, so he was just communicating to Mark. And if you're Mark Zuckerberg and you got this guy who's coming into power, and you know that President-elect Elon Musk is behind him and he doesn't really like you, and he makes that comment about prison, would you ever want the president saying that about you? Especially, he could be a dictator. Democracy might essentially be over in America. So it's like, he's just doing what's best for him. It's pretty obvious. I think 99.9% of us would do this. How many rebels in here, if you're in Mark Zuckerberg's position where you're living a really good life, would be like, oh no, I'm going to fight the power, right? Just give me a break. This is pretty obvious. And he's just got a shock face. Mark's doing something bad. This is the big secret. This is ridiculous. Anybody would do this.
Mark Zuckerberg with...
Well, not anybody. Common people who have nothing to lose, they might fight against it. But someone in his position, of course they're going to play ball.
Donald Trump. And I have even some worse news, is that Tim Cook has said that he is going to be donating his own personal money to Donald Trump.
Oh my God. Tim Cook is going to donate his own personal money. Get ready for it. This is where the tears going to form.
Inauguration. Can you believe that? Tim Cook, who is...
I can't believe it. Tim Cook. He's like a god to me.
Gay.
He's gay.
For Apple.
Works for Apple.
Believe is one of the most progressive companies, at least is how they brand themselves. And to be donating $1 million to Trump.
You think they just brand themselves that way? Look at this. His eye is watering. I don't know if this is his makeup, like if he has glitter on, but this looks like tears, like wetness, a lot of wetness being formed here. Okay. I mean, my eyes started to water because I'm laughing. And like every time I watch this, like I believe this is a real reaction. I believe this is your typical Apple fanboy, right? Who they'll go around and they'll be like, someone like this, some kind of soy boy. Usually they're pretty far leftist. And listen, I don't want to comment on politics. You have your politics, whatever. But one of the things that bothers me is you find these guys, they're in a cult. They're in the fruity cult. And they don't realize it. They sit there and they talk about other people in cults. Oh, hey, you're in a MAGA or you're in an Elon cult. Well, you're in a cult too, buddy. You're in the fruity cult. And you just realized it, okay? Tim Cook, just because he's gay doesn't mean he's better than the rest of us. Isn't that what equality is? Right? So why would you even say that? He's gay. What does that mean? What does that have to do with anything? Okay, if we're truly equal, then that doesn't mean anything. That's not a qualifier to qualify him to make any type of decisions that are different than any other human being. Right? It should mean that if everything's equally, then you should be able to be gay and have whatever political thoughts that you want. You shouldn't be like categorized into some group. And that's what these guys do. Okay, they do that all the time, and yet they try to act like they're better than us. And that's the cult of Apple, right? That's what Apple did. That was the genius of Steve Jobs, right? Is that he took his fascism and his racism, and he bundled it into just elitism, right? So you get these boys like this, and they're not going to be racist because that's not it's not cool, it's not in vogue, or it's not chic or whatever. So what they do instead is they're like, just think, oh, we're elitist, we're better than you. I use Apple. So if you message him with Android, oh my God, man, you're a terrible person. You changed the color of my messages. I don't want you in my group. And then they'll go around, they'll have everybody else kick you out of the group, right? They'll be like, this guy, he changes the color of our message. We can't have that, But then they claim that they have no prejudices in life, right? Oh, we're so open to everybody. Oh, except for him. He changed the color of my message, right? Like, this guy's a freaking lunatic, okay? Apple is like one of the worst companies out there. They had this thing called Gatekeeper. This is an app that was discovered on macOS. They didn't even release the information about it. We checked the developer certificates every single time an app opened on your Mac, and I believe also on the iPhone now too. It would check every single time, right? And they had a problem with the server, and the server stopped responding, and so the apps couldn't open. And that's how it got discovered. You're on your own computer that you pay for it. All of a sudden, apps aren't opening. Why? Because Apple tracks every single thing you do. Okay? And there are people who are like, fanboys, that's not track. Yes, it is. That's exactly what tracking is. Okay? That's what tracking is. I do something, you create a log. That's tracking. Okay? And Apple has been doing that for years. They just settled out of court. Okay? In court for Siri. They're going to be paying out how many millions of dollars to people for Siri eavesdropping. Okay. They were like, hey, we want to protect your privacy from advertisers, which is why they're growing their advertising segment to 11 billion next year. So what they really said is we're going to stop Facebook from advertising, take their piece of the pie, and we'll sell your data to we'll sell it, but we'll handle it better. Right. And everything they do is just like, oh, it's all about privacy when it's just about profit. Okay, and I'm not here ragging on Apple. I have a Mac Mini down here. I used to be a Linux guy, but simple fact is I'm 47. I don't want to be fussing with Linux anymore. Okay, it's just what it is. And I don't want to hear the Linux fanboys come in. Okay, yes, I know I could use Ubuntu or something like that. I just don't want to mess with it anymore. Okay, so I caved in. I bought a Mac Mini. It's a nice product. I believe it's the best pound for pound desktop you can get for the dollar. Okay, and I also have a iPad Pro M1, and I find it to be a very suitable device. But I'm not a fanboy. I'm never going to be like these guys are. And this guy literally is getting tears in his eyes because his idol, Tim Cook, is donating to Donald Trump out of his own pocket. When of course he is. What would you expect them to do, right? This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a transactional president. It's you pay, you get. You play, you get. You don't play, you don't pay, you don't get. He's just playing the game. You can't blame Tim for that. And him being gay has nothing to do about it. But anyways, let's watch this in the full. This is funny.
Can you believe that? Tim News is that Cook has said that he is going to be donating his own personal money to Donald Trump inauguration. Can you believe that? Tim Cook, who is gay, works for Apple. Apple, I believe, is one of the most progressive companies.
Yeah, you know, they had factories in China where they had to install nets to prevent people from... Oh, wait, I can't say that. I'll have to beep that out, but you'll figure it out.
At least as how they brand themselves. And to be donating $1 million to Trump is insane to me. But Mark Cuban is exposing why that's happening. But
all right, Mark Cuban's exposing why. So let's see. Let's see the big secret. The big secret is Mark Cuban says exactly what I said. I didn't watch any more of this video, but I guarantee it. Okay, it's just going to be, it's a pay-to-play game with Trump. He's transactional. That's all I got for you guys. I just think, you know, this guy, the tears welling up in his eyes, a little bit of moisture under there, just the realization. I think this is a real reaction. I don't think Keith is acting here. I think it's pretty hilarious, right? I don't know anything about him otherwise. I just thought this was funny, right? Maybe. Anyways, have a great day.